Hello guys. So now we shall be mainly discussing on what are the different kinds of lobes which we have in your cerebellum. Okay. So anatomically you divide the cerebellum into 3 lobes. In the same way, physiologically also cerebellum is classified into different lobes, and embryologically also it is classified. So what is this anatomical classification? What is this physiological classification? What is this embryological classification? So we will draw 3 separate cerebellums over here, right? And then in detail we will discuss what are the different kinds of lobes that are present in the cerebellar hemisphere. So first important thing is that anatomically cerebellar lobes, not cerebrum, it is cerebellum. Okay, so anatomically cerebellar lobes are 3. One is called as a superior lobe, another one is called as the inferior lobe, and third one is called as a flocculonodular lobe. So we shall see, right, what are the boundaries, right, from where till where is the superior lobe, and where does the inferior lobe start and where it will end. So all these things we shall look in the form of a picture. Okay, so first of all let me draw the picture which I have explained you in the previous classes. So if this is the first class for you, then concentrate on the picture whatever I'm drawing. So if you can see this, let us say I'm drawing the cerebellum in this way. This is your cerebellum, and the center part whatever I'm drawing right now, right? So this center part in the cerebellum is what is called as your vermis. So this center part is called as your what? This center part is called as your vermis. Okay. Next, if you look at the cerebellum over here, okay, if you look at the cerebellum, in the center exactly on either sides, in the center exactly on either sides like this, you have got a structure, right? This structure is what is called as your horizontal fissure. So this structure which I'm drawing right now, right? So this structure over here is called as your horizontal fissure. So this structure which I'm drawing right now like this structure over here is called as your horizontal fissure. Okay, so this is your horizontal fissure. So horizontal fissure is dividing the cerebellum into upper part as well as the lower part of the cerebellum. And obviously this thing doesn't change. Okay, the part which is in the center, doesn't change. So because this is your vermis. Okay, so what is this fissure over here which I have drawn? This fissure over here is called as your horizontal fissure. Horizontal fissure. So in the same way, there are much more fissures as well as many more lobules within this cerebellum. So let us just have a rough look at what are these things. Let us say exactly here we have got one more thing. So first of all let me draw this picture and then I will explain you in detail what are the structures. Okay, and down over here also we have got 2 important structures. So this is one important structure. This is another important structure. You see these circular structures which I have drawn on either side of the vermis. These circular structures are called as tonsils. I will name them. Okay, so I will name these structures. Nothing to worry. So let me little bit enlarge this vermis in this way. Right. So let me enlarge this. Right now, all of you look here. Here we have got another important structure. First of all, let me name these parts. So this part all the way till here, right? This part all the way till here is called as the first lobule. Just beneath the first lobule, we have got the second lobule. After that, we have got the third lobule, we have got the fourth lobule, and this one in the center is called as the fifth lobule. Okay. So let us say, you see this part above this circle is called as the fifth lobule. And down here we have got this thing called as the sixth lobule. This is called as the seventh lobule. This is called as the eighth lobule. This is called as the eighth lobule, and the rest of the part is called as the ninth lobule. Okay, so this part over here is called as the ninth lobule. So let me name these parts. So this is the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so this will be sixth, seventh, eighth, as well as ninth. So let me write it down like this: sixth, seventh, eighth, as well as the ninth. So how many lobules are present within the vermis? Vermis has got 9 lobules. Okay. Now, if you very carefully look, from the base of the second lobule, you see this part is called as the base of the second lobule. From the base of the second lobule, you see a fissure that is coming out like this, right? And in the same way, from the base of the third lobule also you see another fissure that is coming out in this way, right? So in the same way, base of each lobule, there is one fissure that is coming out. So how many fissures so far I have drawn? See, the base of first lobule, there is a fissure. Base of second lobule, there is a fissure. Base of third lobule also, there is a fissure. Now, base of fourth lobule is also having a fissure in this way. Okay. Now, let us go down a bit. Now, if you go down a bit, the base of the sixth lobule is also having a fissure on either side like this. Now, eighth and ninth, they don't have any fissure. Okay. Now, for example, so let me name these things. So what are these important things over here? What are these important things over here? So let us say, coming to the base of the second lobule. The base of the second lobule is having a fissure, and this fissure over here is called as a post-central fissure. This is called as your post-central fissure. Now, first of all, you should understand why this is called as post-central fissure. So, to know why it is called as post-central fissure, you have to know what are the names of each and every lobule over here. So, if you very clearly see here, guys, what is this picture actually? What is this picture actually is that, see, this entire part is called as the superior surface of the cerebellum, and this entire part is called as the inferior surface of the cerebellum. So, what do I mean by this is, for example, if this is your cerebellum, okay, in the cerebellum like this, you see this part is called as the superior surface, this part is called as the inferior surface, okay, or else let me put up like this would be easy. See, now this part is called as the superior surface, this part is called as the inferior surface. If you wanted to see the superior surface clearly, then I have to put my fingers like this so that you can look at the superior surface clearly. If you wanted to look at the inferior surface clearly, then I have to put my fingers like this so that you can look at the inferior surface clearly. If you want to see the superior and inferior surface in a single view, what will I do? I will stretch my fingers like this so that you can see the superior surface, you can see the inferior surface. And what is this part in the center? This part in the center is nothing but called as your horizontal fissure. So now you understood, above the horizontal fissure it is superior surface, and below the horizontal fissure it is your inferior surface. Right? So this is the basic thing which you and me know. Now what we will do is that we shall just write down what are the names of each and every lobule which you have got. Right? So this discussion I have already done in the previous lecture, but now what I am telling is, if you have not watched that previous lecture, then again I am telling you this because I even have to tell you what are the different kinds of lobes that are located over here, right? So let us say superior surface is having how many lobules? You see, superior surface is having 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and inferior surface is having only 4. So here lobules of vermis, the center part is called as vermis, right? So lobules of the vermis are divided into two different parts. So what are these two different parts? The first part is called as a superior surface. Second part is called as the inferior surface. Superior surface as well as the inferior surface. Now, when it comes to the superior surface, how many we have got? We have got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Inferior surface we have got 6, 7, 8 as well as 9. So what is the name of lobule number 1? That is called as lingula. That is called as your lingula. Now what is the name of lobe number 2? That is called as central lobule. Central lobule. Now what is the name of this lobe number 3 called as? That is called as culmen. The lobe number 3 name is called as culmen. And what is the lobule number 4 is called as declive. It is called as declive. And lobe number 5 is called as folium. Lobe number 5 is called as your folium. And we have got lobe number 6. Lobe number 6 is called as tuber. See, these are the things which you just have to memorize this. Okay. Next, after that we have got lobe number 7. Lobe number 7 is called as lobule number 7. I'm sorry, lobule number 7 is called as pyramid. And what is lobule number 8 called as? Lobule number 8 is called as uvula. And finally, lobule number 9 is called as nodule. So how many lobules we have got? 9 lobules. What is the second lobule name called as? The second lobule name is called as your central lobule. Okay. Now, where is the second lobule? So this part is your second lobule. Now, if this is your second lobule, now is it clear? After the second lobule, it means the lower part of the second lobule has got a fissure. So I have to call it as post central. Why are you calling it as post? Because it is after the second lobule, right? So that is the reason why I am calling it as post central fissure. Okay, because it is after the central lobule. Now, after this post central fissure is done, right? Next important fissure. What is the next important fissure? Right. So let me write it down. See, this particular fissure which you can see is called as fissura prima. This is called as fissura prima. This fissure over here is called as fissura prima. Next, just beneath the fourth important lobule, you see a semi-lunar shaped fissure. Semi-lunar, or you can also call it as half moon shaped fissure, right? So this half moon shaped fissure, any moon shape is called as a lunate. So this half moon shape is called as post lunate fissure. Post lunate fissure. Again, why are you calling it as post lunate fissure? Because this is located after the fourth, right? Now that doesn't necessarily mean that the fourth is called as lunate lobule. No, fourth is called as declive. Okay, so the shape of the fissure is like that. Next important thing, coming to the fissure that is present between the fifth and sixth is called as horizontal fissure. We have discussed in the starting itself. Next, the fissure that is present between the sixth and the seventh, right? So this fissure, what is this fissure called? First of all, tell me, what is the seventh lobule called as? The seventh lobule is called as pyramid. Now tell me, this fissure is present before the pyramid or after the pyramid? This fissure is present before the pyramid. Anything before is called as pre. So pre-pyramidal fissure. Okay, so this is called as a pre-pyramidal fissure. Right. Next important thing here is that this is one of the very important thing which you have to keep in your mind. See, this part which I am highlighting right now, this is called as peduncle. This is called as peduncle. And this part over here is called as flocculus. This part over here is called as flocculus. Now, flocculus, peduncle, and you can see this ninth lobule over here, right? So flocculus, peduncle, and this ninth lobule together you call it as flocculonodular lobe. Okay. So once again, let me write it down. What are the things? One is called as flocculus. Another one is called as peduncle. Flocculus, peduncle plus the ninth lobule. Ninth lobule, together you call it as flocculonodular lobe. Flocculonodular lobe. So the ninth one over here is called as your flocculonodular lobe. Clear all of you? So these are the structures that are located over here. Okay. So flocculus is one thing, peduncle is one thing, and ninth lobule is one thing. All these three are called as flocculonodular lobe. Now let us see here what are the other lobes. You told me anatomically we divide this entire cerebellum into 3 lobes, right? So what are the other lobes? So completely we have to discuss about the lobes of cerebellum. Lobes of cerebellum. So in the topic of discussion of lobes of cerebellum, first lobe which I have already told you, that is called as flocculonodular lobe. So this is the first lobe which we discussed. Now coming to the second lobe. What is the second lobe? Second lobe is called as your anterior lobe. Second lobe is called as the anterior lobe. And what is the third lobe called as? Third lobe is called as the posterior lobe. Posterior lobe. So where is anterior lobe and where is posterior lobe? So all of you look at this picture. Now can I tell that this top surface of the vermis, whatever is there, from the top surface of the vermis, all the way till here. You see, from the top surface of the vermis all the way till fissura prima, right? So this area from the top surface of the vermis till fissura prima, whatever you can see, this is called as the anterior lobe. What is this lobe called as? This lobe is called as your anterior lobe. So if I ask you, anterior lobe is consisting of what? Anterior lobe is consisting of the first lobule, second lobule, third lobule. It is consisting of postcentral fissure. It is consisting of fissura prima. Okay. So this is what is called as your anterior lobe. Now the discussion of anterior lobule is done. Now let us discuss about what is the posterior lobule. Now before I discuss posterior lobule, one very important thing I want to tell you here is that you see that there is some space here. You see this space here? On either sides a triangular shaped space, right? So this triangular shaped space, whatever I have drawn over here, this triangular shaped space is called as posterolateral fissure. Posterior lateral fissure. So this triangular shaped space is called as posterolateral fissure. Now, important thing you need to know. What is the important thing you need to know? What is this one? This is called as fissura prima, right? So here there is fissura prima. So all the way from fissura prima, all the way from fissura prima, all the way till where? Till the posterolateral fissure. This entire thing is called as a posterior lobe. This entire thing over here is called as your posterior lobe. This entire thing over here is called as your posterior lobe. So anatomically we divide the lobes of the cerebellum into three lobes. One is called as the anterior lobe of the cerebellum, another one is called as the posterior lobe of the cerebellum, and third one is called as the flocculonodular lobe. Anterior lobe starts all the way from the tip of the vermis all the way till where? It starts from the tip of the vermis till the fissura prima. Now from the fissura prima till the posterolateral fissure is what is called as the posterior lobe. Next, when it comes to this flocculus, peduncle and ninth lobule, three of them together you call it as the flocculonodular lobe. So these are the three important lobes which you need to know in the cerebellum. So let us write it down. So what is this flocculonodular lobe? I just told you that flocculonodular lobe, in the sense it comprises of what? It comprises of the ninth lobule. It comprises of ninth lobule. Along with the ninth lobule, it also comprises of peduncle, ninth lobule, as well as pedicle, right? So what are the things we have discussed? Flocculus, peduncle and ninth lobule, and flocculus. So all these three important things together you call it as a flocculonodular lobe. Okay. After this flocculonodular lobe, the second important lobe which we have to discuss is the anterior lobe. So anterior lobe extends till, anterior lobe is extending till what? It is extending till fissura prima. Anterior lobe is extending till fissura prima. Next, posterior lobe is extending from, it is extending from fissura prima. It is extending from fissura prima all the way till the posterolateral fissure. Posterior lateral fissure. Till here it is your posterior lobe. So this kind of classification, whatever I've told you, is called as the anatomical classification of your lobes of the cerebellum. Okay. So in the next video, we shall be discussing what are the different kinds of lobes, I mean based upon the physiological classification as well as the embryological classification. Okay. So this is all you need to know regarding the lobes of the cerebellum. Thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.